Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, the panel, the Art of Reputation Management. So I think we can probably go ahead and get started pretty soon here. We got 14 people. Some people we recognize. I see Lance. Hi, Lance. Radistina, hello. I remember you from, I believe, from Game Changers. All right. So yeah, what we're going to do here is talk about the art of reputation management. MobilityWare has been just really aggressive and awesome at replying to their app reviews, and we really wanted to learn a little bit more about, how they were able to do that and why it was so successful. And we learned it's through an integration between another company called AppFollow as well as our software HelpShift, and to do so, they're able to actually address a very large number of reviews and reach out to the customers in ways that previously wasn't possible. So I guess we'll go ahead and begin. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jason Copeland, a customer success manager here at HelpShift. And we have with me here Jeremy Bazinski. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself and your role in your company MobilityWare.
Hey, Jason. Yeah, thanks for the intro. Yeah, my name is Jeremy Bazinski. I'm the customer support manager here at MobilityWare. I've been with this team for about 5 years, which is about the same time that we started using HelpShift. So I was one of the first ones in MobilityWare to start taking on the new product. So I've been definitely using it for a little bit, and I know a little bit about their ins and outs here. A little bit about MobilityWare as well, if you don't know, we were one of the first app stores in the App Store back in 2008. We primarily focus on creating casual mobile games. Something you may have heard of is something like Solitaire, Free Cell, Spider Solitaire. We have Jigsaw as well. And the newer one as well as Monopoly Solitaire is another game that we have out. So we have quite a little portfolio we've been working on.
Yeah, I've definitely seen those in the App Store in my many years downloading mobile games for sure. Okay, so we're talking, HelpShift and AppFollow. Before you began using those tools together, what were your biggest pain points in terms of responding to app reviews?
Yeah, so one of our biggest pain points is that app reviews were kind of an afterthought during them. We didn't really have a systematic approach to answering our app reviews because they were kind of just spread across all the different portals that we had to log into. So this kind of spread our work across everything as well as our reporting. So it just kind of carried a lot of pain points on just getting the data into a single place. One of our leads discovered that AppFollow had an integration with HelpShift, and so we decided to take advantage of that and set that up.
Right on. Okay. And so what tools were you using during that time?
Yeah, so before this, we were primarily using Zendesk. I didn't get a lot of experience in there, but from my understanding is it was kind of just mostly primarily based around email support. And we were kind of looking for something with a little more product features within there to kind of help support our players and keep them happy in the game.
Okay, and then so fast forward a little bit, you're looking at AppFollow and HelpShift. About when did you finally implement that integration?
Yeah, so we started the integration back about July of 2018. We started integrating our first apps. And then about a month or two after that is when we kind of gotten all of our apps integrated, once we kind of got some approval and buy-in to get that done.
Right on. And then, so let's talk numbers then. What was there like an immediate result? Did you see anything happening like right away as soon as you started responding to reviews using this method?
Oh yeah, within the first month, we saw around a 2.5 to 7.5% increase in our star ratings on certain apps once we started integrating it in and answering these reviews in that fashion.
Okay. So you're kind of unique though, in that you integrated AppFollow into HelpShift as opposed to say just responding to reviews on AppFollow's dashboard. Can you tell me a little bit about that and like why that in particular has been beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, really the biggest benefit for us, a lot of this was also just giving our agents a single platform to answer reviews within. As previously mentioned, we were kind of scattered across different platforms, so we'd have agents having to log into different portals all the time to answer things. So bringing this all into one portal made it easier for the agents to now start answering reviews and customer support tickets within their same workday. It's also kind of reduced our onboarding and allowed us also to cross-train now our individual reps across all the different channels in our support team here. As well, this also kind of allowed us to balance our work across the department. Like I mentioned previously, we were kind of really focused on customer support tickets and reviews weren't really in our eyesight. And now that we were able to see this all in reporting, we're able to see now where there were trending issues and we can focus in the reviews if we needed more focus on that area or focus in customer support, depending on where the trends were going.
What was it like before you implemented the integration? How are you responding to app reviews before? Was it like 1 or 2 agents assigned to that task, or kind of how did that get divvied up?
Yeah, so before this integration, we really only had about one agent that was really primarily trained on it, and they would log into each of the portals and just answer as many reviews as they could. And even further back than that, we were only answering them sometimes on just Fridays. And this was years ago. So there really wasn't like a rhyme or reason around it, and it wasn't very productive.
And so now, just to like clarify, the current state of reviews is you have both in-game or like customer service tickets, as well as app reviews coming in as issues through HelpShift, and your agents will just kind of pull, whatever they're being served at that time or whatever needs to be worked on, right?
Yep, yeah. So we have both of these flowing now into the HelpShift portal, and then we use some of their queues and other features to kind of just separate some of the work out. But the agents are now trained to kind of basically work all of those smart reviews and queues. So they can basically tackle all the customer support tickets and reviews now.
Now, aside from like the immediate support team, I imagine that perhaps this has had somewhat of a ripple effect throughout the rest of the business. Like, were there any other teams that were benefiting from this integration, or any way that you'd be able to help other departments out with this information?
Yeah, definitely. This basically gave us some unified reporting for CS and reviews now. Prior to this, we were only kind of able to get data about customer support tickets, and then all the review reporting was spread across portals. So it was really hard to kind of piece that information in a unified format to show the teams what was going on. This also helped us with agent productivity. Now that we can see the agents work across both portals, or excuse me, not portals, but both channels, we can now measure their productivity with CS and reviews and see how they're tracking in that fashion. The other thing that also gave us was a new visibility in app reviews that the game teams really didn't kind of have before. Using some of the tagging and categorization system that HelpShift has in here, we can now generate reports and give these game teams feedback more about their players. And then that helps them just develop a better game.
I imagine that was pretty popular when we started doing that, and now they kind of want those reports all the time, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. They'll come to us for reports, and we've even set up monthly cadences now to give them some of this information.
That's good. Yeah, having a good like feedback loop and a good structure to just get that feedback regularly up there is good. So how many support like tickets and reviews do you normally get? And how is the team that responds to those reviews structured now?
Yeah, so we support about 28 million MAUs across 6 agents within this company. As I previously mentioned, we have our agents now cross-trained for reviews and CS, and they're able to actually manage about 6,000 contacts that we receive monthly. About 1,400 of those are actually app reviews that they need to tackle.
It's about like what, 25% of your volume? It's about a quarter there. Okay, that's very significant. Yeah. So 6 agents, that's like 1,000 issues per agent. That's a lot of work to handle both issues and reviews. Like, what features are you leveraging in order to help make that possible? Because that seems like a pretty big workload for such a small team.
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of work to take on, but definitely HelpShift does have a lot of features that we were able to take advantage of to kind of chop down that work and make it more efficient on our side. One of the big ones for us was using the quick reply system within HelpShift. This really just helps us kind of speed up our responses, now having a database within there, and also helped us give a variation of replies out. So we're not always using the same reply. So that way we were able to build a database and now have just different responses in there and speed everything up and get these players their answers quicker. Another one also is using the automations. The automations in HelpShift are pretty simple to set up and can pick up on keywords through the integrations that come through. So we're able to actually route our tickets and tag them based on star ratings. So we can get rid of our spam and some of the low-level tickets easily. And some of the higher priority tickets, we can actually route to agents to get a response as fast as we can to get those players helped as quick as possible here.
So I really liked what you said about the quick replies and having varied responses. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Why is that important in app reviews?
Yeah, so some of the things that we've learned to taking on app reviews and customer support tickets is that app reviews are kind of in a public forum, and you want to be a little careful about what you may say in a public forum sometimes. You don't always want to use blanketed responses through all these players that are having a problem. And so you want to have varied responses to not sound so robotic and to have the player feel like they're being helped and heard through their contact.
Right on. Yeah, that makes sense. I know we've talked about this when we were preparing for it, but I recall seeing often in app reviews where there would be a variety of reviews for different reasons, and then the company just copy and paste the same, like, thank you for your feedback, thank you for your feedback. And I never felt like that was going to be very valuable. So it sounds like you guys have already thought ahead of that.
Yep, it doesn't come off as very genuine when you see, 150 responses to players with a problem and it's all the same answer. So that's definitely where we saw a pitfall immediately. And then, like we always say too, is these are going to be posted for the rest of the time that the app stores are up. So we want to make sure that our replies are, as good as possible.
Can we get a question in the Q&A? That's actually a good time to ask this question here. We have from Ross. Do AppFollow and similar tools integrate natively with HelpShift, or does it require additional work from internal teams?
So the AppFollow tool, actually, once you do get set up with AppFollow, they actually have a pretty simple integration portal where you just kind of go in, you set up the email address or add the email address for your specific HelpShift portal you want things forwarded to. And then it'll actually forward everything kind of like an email based into HelpShift for you. And then really the only other work you need to do on the HelpShift side is just set up some automations, possibly some custom issue fields and some smart views to kind of get those reviews filtered into a separate area. One of the things that we learned immediately of doing this is that once we turned this on, we were kind of drinking from a fire hose suddenly of reviews coming in, and they were mucking up all of our support tickets. So we need to kind of delineate those across and set up some smart views and automations to keep app reviews in their area and customer support tickets in their area.
Pretty cool. Okay. I think that was the only question for now. Okay. I wanted to go back to, talking about the rest of the business and kind of how these, this integration, these reviews getting to the rest of the company has been beneficial. So like, what do you do to prepare this feedback, like that you're getting from the store reviews? Like, which teams do you send them to and how has that helped them out?
Yeah, definitely. The portal has been very advantageous for us for these game teams as well. We've actually been able to give them access directly to the portal so they can come in and they can actually read their tickets for their games and see what the players are actually saying verbatim in there. It's given them better insights to make their games better at the end of the day. We also take advantage of HelpShift's tags and custom issue fields to kind of get some more granular reporting for these game teams on what the players are saying. This allows us to now kind of generate some monthly reports to send to them, as well as seeing inbound trends that are coming and alert the teams about these as soon as possible. A lot of these kind of get sent to our QA teams or our game teams directly, or even our monetization team, depending on what the area of the bug's coming from. The other one that we really kind of take advantage of here as well is Slack channels. We found those are great communication paths for us here. We can escalate things very quickly to a channel or a group of people if we're seeing an issue. So we have groups set up with our game teams for our customer support chats. So if we start seeing a trending issue come in, we can give them direct links to the HelpShift tickets now. And they can actually go ahead and filter those, read them directly, and then kind of make their best guess on prioritizing how to fix that bug.
So just like ultimate agility, just constantly being able to get that stuff in front of the engineers that need to see it. Awesome.
Yeah, it's all about visibility, letting everybody see what's going on and keeping it out in the open.
We have a really good question from Pavel in the Q&A here. Do you have any kind of prioritization for your AppFollow tickets?
Yes. So our current prioritization is we do mainly prioritize our negative reviews. So our 1, 2, and 3 stars, and then featured reviews. And then 4 and 5 star reviews, we kind of just have in the background right now. Those are also a lot of volume, so we got to kind of factor that in. But yeah, we do actually use also the priority queue system in HelpShift to also have those filtered up to the top. So our negative reviews are always kind of at the top to get answered.
Gotcha. I do see, it looks like we're getting some good best practice questions coming in, and I think we have some time at the end to talk about best practices. So Victoria, I'll save that one for later, since I think we're going to cover that as well, and then we'll see if that answers your question. And we got a poll that looks like has been put up. If you guys wanted to go ahead and take a look at that, feel free. So going back to our conversation earlier, you had mentioned, and I'm glad you brought up the monetization team to be able to get feedback regarding like ad performance and whatnot, because a lot of our clients, like I would say, to get about 5 to 10% of feedback regarding their marketing ads. So what is the percentage of in-game ads feedback that you receive, and what do you do with that information?
Yeah. So we tend to receive a lot of feedback about ads within our portals. My last run of numbers is showing about 32% of our contacts are ad related. This ranges anything from technical issues to crashing and freezing to also content related issues. We also just want to make sure that all of our ads are, appropriate for all ages. And we say bad ads can also impact our monetization. So we want to make sure the ads are functioning properly and players are enjoying what they're seeing in there. This is also where we kind of take advantage of the tags and custom issue fields to capture details more. So basically, we are able to categorize and subcategorize our ad issues and feedback, and we provide this to the monetization team when we start seeing trends, so they can kind of dig further into our ad networks and make adjustments to make sure that the players are happy with what they're seeing. Because really, at the end of the day, the more ads our players are going to see, the more revenue we generate.
Nice. Okay. Got a couple of questions here. Pavel also asked another one. Did you try to use app follow internal tags for better prioritization? Oh, so you're talking about on the actual app follow platform itself, right?
Yes. So yeah, they do have an auto tag part of their system within app follow. We're actually kind of looking into that right now for the next coming year. So I don't really have too much information on how to use that for right now for that prioritization on that side. We've primarily been focused on getting app reviews into HelpShift and kind of seeing how we can use the single HelpShift portal to tag, categorize everything for us to then get the reporting out of there.
So it's all in one unified data set, right? Okay.
Yeah, so the main point was trying to get everything into one area. But yeah, so AppFollow does offer some other features around that.
So there's a lot of moving pieces to this. It sounds like, you got a team that's taking a combination of, regular customer contacts and then getting occasional app reviews. So what kind of KPIs are you monitoring to make sure that this is all still working smoothly and being successful?
Yeah, so one of the ones we've been trying to track lately was our time to first response. As mentioned, we didn't really have a rhyme or reason to answering reviews, or at least a systematic approach previously. So before we started this, we were upwards of 90+ hours to have a first response on app reviews. Today, when we're running our numbers, we're showing in we're down to 24 hours of time to first response to getting a negative review, getting an answer to it. The other thing as well is agent productivity has gone way up. Being able to cross-train these team members across all platforms now, or excuse me, across all the portals, is now allowed allowed the agents now to kind of take on more of the work and spread it across there. So we definitely see our productivity go up across agents now.
Which, I mean, in my opinion, it sounds like it's working. I mean, if we talk ratings, they're very impressive. I think even in our advertisement for this webinar, we were seeing 4.7 out of 5 stars on average with 1.5 million ratings. So do you have any more insights about that? Like, can you share a little bit about how successful that's been?
Yeah, definitely. So some of the star ratings I can share here there are for our solitaire iOS game. We show around about from 2017 to 2022, we've seen about a 2.2% increase in the star rating since we've integrated this. The other thing we've also seen is that 60% of our reviewers were less likely to lower a current rating if they were getting a response from a CS rep on the reply, or excuse me, in the review.
It's a good thing to look at, and I don't think it's often considered that being able to prevent good scores from going down based off of a single bad experience. It's really important to be able to catch that. Why do you think it's less likely, though, that they're gonna lower the score? What about that process makes them happier, I guess?
Yeah, so we have this hypothesis around that, is that if players are not getting an answer or having trouble getting in contact with support, they're more likely just to kind of end up in a public forum and leave a bad app review. So our hypothesis around that is this, we're proactively in the portals and answering players where the players can see what's going on and know how to contact us or know that we're working on a bug. They're less likely to kind of downgrade their reviews further and may just leave it or upgrade it from there.
Ross has a question specifically about what you just talked about. To clarify, have scores increased by 2.2% or by 2.2 stars?
So it's a 2.2% increase in star rating. So not star rating increase. So yeah, I definitely get you some more further numbers for that one.
Yeah, not from 2.0 to 4.2, but whatever the score was at the time, it increased by 2.2%.
Correct. So it'd be something of whatever 2% increase was, like from a 4.0 star rating to like a 4.5 star rating, that kind of an increase in percentage.
So I feel like we've touched on a bunch of this stuff already, but to summarize, like, what would you say the secret sauce is to getting such high review scores constantly? Any best practices that you can share that you've learned along the way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just like any secret sauce, it takes a couple of ingredients to get this to be right and, tasty. One of the top ones we had on here was just easy to contact our support team. If you don't have an easy way to reach out to somebody in a portal, like I mentioned above, you're going to likely have people just go into the app review realm or public realm to start leaving negative reviews. So making it easy for players to contact you and report problems to you will hopefully kind of just negate any negative reviews coming in. Another thing we also had was just a bug reporting and feedback loop with our teams. Things that we've seen in the past is if you let bugs kind of stand too long and don't get fixed, they kind of seem to fester in that portal, and people will just continue to leave negative reviews and post bad comments about problems not getting resolved or not feeling like they're being heard from the games. So having a proper feedback loop with your teams to let them know what the bugs are being reporting and having them fix those bugs will then help kind of negate any negative reviews coming in. Another thing we also had on here was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you were. I was just going to ask, do you think that perhaps also it might dissuade other customers from leaving the same bad reviews if they go to the review site and see that MobilityWare has already addressed this, or it's a known issue or what have you? You think they're less likely to also throw in their review, even though they know it's being resolved, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about that public appearance as well. Is if you can get contacts out there and replies, letting people know that you're aware of the problem. Someone maybe will come in to leave a bad review about a bug and see that you're already working on it, and that just prevents them from leaving that negative review. So kind of like a natural deflection, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I mean, one last that's also for just one of our ingredients as well is just blatantly asking players to update bad reviews or negative reviews. If the players had a good experience with your support team, or they previously left a bad review, just kindly ask them if they wouldn't mind updating the review once they're done with working with the support team. It's kind of an easy step to kind of help drive that extra, positive review experience.
So I'm going to put you on the spot now with this one. What do you love about HelpShift's product, and how is it working with the HelpShift team?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I really love the ease of use of the product and implementation. From the engineering side to implement the SDK, all the way up to implementing features within the portal. Really everything kind of takes minimal training. And even if things are a little bit of a deeper feature, the support team's always been there, especially the CSMs, to kind of help us understand that better and make sure that we're using the product properly. I really have also just appreciated that they take time to understand our initiatives and needs from a company's perspective. So they'll always kind of help us and offer products that are kind of in our realm of what we're looking to accomplish in our end year goals. So that's always a huge advantage for us here. I also really love their Slack channel. I don't know if anybody in here is in that Slack channel, but they actually have a community Slack channel, which is amazing for a company to have. This gives great visibility of kind of what their customers are asking, as well as any problems that may pop up for your incident channels are great. It just provides really great communication there, especially that I can actually contact my CSMs directly through the Slack portal and get answers immediately versus maybe having to wait a little bit of time through an email.
Yeah, I also noticed too, and something I thought was really cool when I joined this company a little over a year ago, was customers help each other out in that channel all the time as well. It's not obviously not the preferred method. Like our support team is generally pretty quick at getting to everybody, but hey, sometimes it could be 3 in the morning. You have a simple question and maybe somebody's dealt with it before and you can get an answer that way.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it's nice to see what other people are trying to use and how they're using the product. Maybe someone may post something in there that I didn't think of using it that way. And it gives me a heads up on maybe some new feature I can kind of take advantage of in here.
So, that sounds amazing. I don't imagine though that you're slowing down. So I'm kind of curious at what the future looks like for you. What do you have any like areas that you're planning on, working on later or taking to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. Some of them were a little bit mentioned before, but we really want to focus some more things on our bug and feedback loop. We've got a decent feedback loop with the game teams right now, but what we really want to kind of get into is circling back with these players now, letting them know that their bugs have been resolved or their issue's been resolved, so the player can get back into the game and enjoying the experience the way they were before. That's definitely one thing we want to do is just, making players feel like they're heard and helped through this process. The other one as well is expanding upon our asking players to update negative reviews. We want to kind of dig further into that and really take more advantage of that to get more players to turn those negative reviews into positive reviews in that portal. The last one we're kind of looking into for next year as well is kind of shortcutting to contact us. Like I mentioned earlier, is if it's difficult for a player to contact you within your support portal, they're probably going to end up leaving a negative review. So we want to find ways to get people directly from app reviews into our CS tickets in game so that we can get the direct information needed to troubleshoot their issues. HelpShift has some features that we're looking into, such as deep linking and then outbound support, that we're going to see if we can take advantage of to kind of, like I said, get these players directly back into the game, get their issue fixed, and get them moving forward and happy playing again.
And for the audience, Jeremy mentioned outbound support. That's currently a feature that is on our roadmap for this year. It's currently being worked on and ready for beta soon. But essentially, it would allow you, a simple explanation is it would allow you to generate a link that would be that could be automatically tagged, and you get to build a very purpose-built link that when you provide it to a customer, they click on it, it creates an issue with all of the tags and all the other custom issue builds if you wanted associated with that, which would be a really good use case for directing people to support in the App Store responses. Okay, so we have some time, quite a bit of time actually, to take some questions from the audience. I promised Victoria we would come back to hers. And we see actually 2 questions now. So let's start with this one. How do you work with tags? Do agents tag reviews manually?
Yes. So right now, our agents do tag reviews manually. We do have a we try to do a tiered system, is a main category and a little subcategory to get some further details. But the agents are mainly, manually tagging them as they come in. We have tried to use some of the automations as well to kind of pick up on some of the other key words that might come through as crashing phrases like that to kind of auto tag for us as well.
And if we answer a question and you don't feel like it answered it sufficiently, feel free to pop in a question again or add clarifying details. It's totally fine. And then are there different approaches to working with positive and negative reviews? Like, I think the question is asking, do you treat them differently? Correct me if I'm wrong, Victoria.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say 4- and 5-star reviews are a lot different than negative reviews. Generally speaking, when we look through 4- and 5-star reviews, it's people just giving, thanks for the feedback. There might be some like feature feedback within there, but really a lot of our responses are on that, like, hey, thanks for the great review. If you have any other questions, contact our support team. Versus where a negative review is usually a person having an issue or a problem with the product itself. And usually those you want to get them directly into support, and kind of empathize with them to, say, we're sorry, we understand you're having an issue. Contact our support team so we can help you get this resolved as quick as possible. So you kind of have to have a little bit of a different tactic between the two. It also comes down to whatever the context of the review itself ends up being.
For my own curiosity, what plans do you have for positive reviews? Say you're going to open up some bandwidth to be able to address those. Like, what would you, like in a perfect world, like to be able to do with those?
Yeah, so with positive reviews, we'd love to try and have some automation set up around that to just kind of thank the players that you leave us, short replies of saying, thanks, I love this product. This is a great game. We'd also like to try and set up some feedback loop within those that we do get a lot of feedback in 4- and 5-star reviews that aren't collected right now. So we'd like to have some tagging set up around that so we can also not just report on maybe negative reviews, but also say, here's what 4- and 5-star reviews are also pulling in and giving you feedback about.
Here's actually a great question. So what languages are you responding to these reviews in?
No, that is a very good question. So currently right now, we're only responding in English to our English only reviews. We are actually looking to give a trial period of a Kantan AI integration with HelpShift that'll actually give us multi-language support directly within the HelpShift portal. And that should hopefully kind of get us around that and be able to answer all of our languages.
Love it. I love it. What any other questions, anything that you wanted to know about this, feel free to ask them now. We don't have any open questions right now in the Q&A. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Looks like I might be slowing down a little bit on the questions, but hopefully that means that this was very clear and straightforward and there's no confusion. And it looks like it's a really good opportunity to reach out to your customers and get as many raise your reviews.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say this has been a great opportunity for us to really kind of tackle our app reviews and just be more into that public forum, keeping our players happy. One of our biggest mottos we want to do is just keep our players happy, helped, and heard. And using these tools is keeping them in that realm there.
Right on. Well, I guess with that, I don't know if we should leave it open for a few more questions, but probably give everybody 30 minutes back. I really appreciate you, Jeremy, for taking the time to answer these questions and share everything with us and our customers, and I appreciate everybody for joining. If you happen to have any questions following this, if you think of anything, please feel free to reach out to me or to your customer success manager if you're already a customer. If not, you can reach out to the technical support team and we'll be able to get you the answers that you're seeking. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Henry.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Jason, as well. This is great.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great night. Have a great afternoon or morning, wherever you are.
Bye, everybody.